NRL Fanatics here, back today with a second video, and I'm going to give my report card and thoughts on the performances of our off-field signings so far this season. And yeah, it's been a bit tough to gauge on some of the off-field signings because the only player from the Warriors who has signed and been on the field is Ben Murdoch-Masila, because you got the likes of Adam Fanua-Blake, Ewan Aiken, you got those players. They've been sitting on the sideline, so it's really hard to get a gauge on those players and how they've gone so far 12 rounds into the year. So look, I'll give my best to give a review and thoughts on these players, and yeah, let's get into it. So the first player on the list I'm going to talk about is Bailey Siren. Now, Bailey Siren signed from the South Sydney Rabbitohs at the end of last year, and I thought he was a pretty decent signing, actually. I was pretty happy that we signed Bailey Siren, and a lot of South Sydney Rabbitohs fans rated him highly. They were disappointed that he left. So, look, for the first couple of games of the season, going off those games of watching Bailey Siren until then after he got injured, I thought he did a pretty solid job, actually. I think he did all right. I think he didn't have too many disappointing games, but he didn't stand out too well. But, I thought he did a pretty decent job. So I'm going to give Bailey Siren here a solid C. I thought he did a pretty decent job, but, due to injuries, I'm giving him a C for the season so far. Now, the next player on that off-season signings report card is Marcelo Montoya. Now, look, I was very, very surprised with this signing, and I thought it was a very odd signing at the start of the season. I know he can cover a lot of positions and all that, and he can play wing, he can play centre, but I thought this was a very strange one because Patrick Herbert was a player I rated very highly, and also I rated highly Adam Keighran as well. And I thought, we let go Adam Keighran and Patrick Herbert for someone like Marcelo Montoya. I thought, which was strange. Even Bulldogs fans, saying that that was a bit of a strange signing, and I wasn't so sure. I was very, very confused by this signing in general because I didn't really understand it at the time, but I warmed to it in the off-season. I thought, hang on, maybe Marcelo Montoya would be handy to have if we get injuries to Ken Romalo, David Fusitu'a, and, it turned out this year, Marcelo Montoya's come into the side so far this year, and I think he's done a great job, actually. I think he's done a pretty solid job, and, Ken Romalo and David Fusitu'a, they've been very, very disappointing this season, and they've had injuries as well, so Marcelo Montoya's come in, and he's done a pretty good job, actually. I think he's done a good job. He's done a great job, and, I think he's been solid in what he's done. I know he's not the flashiest of players, but he's been pretty solid. So I'm going to give Marcelo Montoya a good rating here, and I'm going to give him a C. The next player on the list I'm going to talk about is Adam Fanua-Blake. And Adam Fanua-Blake at the start of the season was absolutely outstanding, and he proved why we signed him and how much of an impact he makes on this team, because he was absolutely awesome. And look, unfortunately for him, he got injured against the Sydney Roosters, and that was it for him for a few months now. And it's been a long, long time since we've seen Adam Fanua-Blake back on the field, and he's going to be returning in round 14 against the Melbourne Storm, which will be a great boost for the club to have him back on the side, and a great boost for him to be out there. So, going off mid-season report card so far of Adam Fanua-Blake, I'm going to give him a rating of a C as well. So I'm giving him the same rating. The reason why, because, he hasn't been on the field. I would give him an A or B, but he hasn't been out there. So, since the start of the season, I'm going off of the start of the season, he's been great. But because he's been off for so long, I'm going to give him a C. Now, the next player I'm going to talk about is Ben Murdoch-Masila, and Ben Murdoch-Masila has been absolutely outstanding. He's been outstanding. Now, going into the off-season, there's a lot of people doubting him, saying, oh, he didn't set the world on fire in the Super League, he didn't have great stats and all that, and, oh, stats. You know, stats don't mean anything. At the end of the day, stats don't mean anything. And I know the NRL is a different competition since he last left it, but Ben Murdoch-Masila has been absolutely on fire. He's been absolutely incredible, and he's been a player that we really much needed. You know, I think if you look at the Warriors 4-pack in the few years of this team's existence, you know, we haven't had a good 4-pack since 2011, in my opinion. I thought our 4-pack's been just pretty ordinary. We haven't had the pack to go with the best sides in the comp. And Ben Murdoch-Masila, you know, what can you say? He's been absolutely outstanding. So, for me, Ben Murdoch-Masila gets the best signing for the Warriors this season. He's been incredible. The next player I'm going to talk about is Ewan Aitken, and I think Ewan Aitken at the start of the season was great. I was looking forward to what he can produce at the club. Unfortunately for him as well, he's picked up an injury. You know, he picked up an injury that kept him on the sideline for so long. And it was such a shame because I was looking forward to seeing whether he can, you know, step it up and put himself in contention for New South Wales Origin spot. Even though, look, it's hard to get into the New South Wales Origin side anyway. But, look, it's very disappointing when he got injured. Now, I think since coming back from that injury for a few weeks now, he's been great. Now, he was great against the North Queensland Cowboys. I thought that was one of his best games for us. He scored 2 tries in that game. So, you know, I'm going to give Ewan Aitken here a C here. Actually, I think he's been pretty good and, you know, pretty solid when he was playing against the Cowboys. So, I'm going to give him a C. Now, the last player on the list for off-season signings report card is Kane Evans. Now, look, Kane Evans, I'm going to be completely honest, this is not a bashing towards the player. I have not been convinced by Kane Evans so far, but at the start of the season, I will give him a proof here. At the start of the season, you know, he came into the side, and look, I thought, why haven't we played him? And, you know, we signed him, why didn't we play him? Because it was because of his fitness. You know, the coaches just wanted to settle him back into the side, and they played him up there at the Redcliffe Dolphins. He was playing for the Redcliffe Dolphins for a very long time. And then since lately, you know, he's been in the side, but I've still not been impressed by Kane Evans so far. I don't think he's done enough to convince me right now. So I'm going to give Kane Evans a D here. I just haven't been very impressed with him. So he gets a D for me. So, yeah, that's my off-season signings report card and my thoughts of these players going into the midpoint of the season. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on these players this season? What are your thoughts on the off-field signings? Do you think it's Ben Murdoch-Masila who's been our best player so far this year in terms of off-field signings? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget also to hit that subscribe button. The channel's at 541 subscribers, so make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're new around here. Also, don't forget to hit that like button on the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.